Hello everybody, I'm Ard, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Enigmatica 2 Expert. Last week, well, we had an incident. I made windmills instead of water wheels, and that wasn't the smartest thing ever, but it did uncover the fact that I needed to make steel before we could do the water wheels. And the easiest way to make steel is probably just to go ahead and make the blast furnace. Well, to make the blast furnace this week, however, we need nether bricks, which requires nether rack. Now, we could actually manufacture it with redstone pretty easily, but at the same point, I mean, let's face facts, it's just easier to go straight to the nether. I mean, come on guys, let's just go make the portal and go there. Before we do that, let's go through what I did in between episodes today. So I did some exploring because one of the things I needed were these cinder pearls, because the cinder pearl from Thaumcraft lets you make blaze powder really easily. You can find cinder pearls in almost all desert biomes in this pack. You just have to go wander around in them, and I happen to know where a couple of them are, so I went gathering them. The other thing I did was I made a golden lasso, and the golden lasso is pretty easy to make in this pack. It's just 4 diamonds and 4 strings, which I have an ample supply of. And what they'll let you do is just capture any friendly creature, or rather any non-hostile creature, and just pop it in and put it back down. Now, why did I do this though? Well, let me show you, because I kidnapped some people. I went through some villages to find some specific types of villagers. In this case, this guy who takes beets and turns them into emeralds. And a couple of these guys who just give me different types of planks that I can get. And this guy that lets me turn paper into emeralds, which will be really easy to do once I can make a wood farm. And this guy who trades the resonating redstone crystals, which makes it easy to get those instead of having to find them in the wild. And this guy right here, who trades wheat for silky combs, and also potatoes for silky combs. And the silky comb matters because this is the only way to make the apiarist suit, because you can refine those into the silk string that you need to make it. And usually the only way you can do that is to farm tropical bees in a jungle, or to inherit traits from them to make those. And that's a giant pain in the butt when I can just trade for it with that guy right there. So, that's most of what I did in between the episodes. At this point, let's just go make the portal. And I think I'm just going to slap it right here on the beach just outside my base for the time being, and just do it pretty simple. So like this. Nothing has really changed regarding the portals. They're still pretty simple to make. This pack doesn't even require the flint and steel be made of steel, thankfully, which some mod packs that require progression do, which is a giant pain in the butt. These just require iron, and now we have the nether portal. So let me put my armor back on, and let's go see how scary the other side of this is. So far, this doesn't look too bad. As you can see, the biomes in this are different than normal Minecraft. This also predates the Nether update in Minecraft, 1.15 or 16, I can't remember offhand which. But it has all sorts of custom biomes like this forest undergarden biome. Pretty much everything stays the same for them. Otherwise, there's some new materials in here. There's nether ores that you can find in here, so we can actually mine out here for ore if we want to, at a better conversion rate than normal ore. But our main goals today are to bring back some nether quartz, because while we can get some in the overworld now, it's not common. Bring back some more glowstone, bring back a bunch of nether rack, and then go find some firestone as well, and there's some right down there, because we need that to make the magma anvil. And then find some place where we can set up a pump to pump magma back into the overworld via nether tanks. So I'm going to go take a look around and hopefully find another fortress as well. I'll come back with a report shortly. Alright, so I did some exploring of the nether, and I did find a spot for pump not too far off in that direction right over there. As you can see, if I open up the nether book, I found a spot for pump, and I found another fortress that I explored into. So I found some wither skeletons, which is what I was looking for, and I got their bones, which is one of the things I needed to be able to make an ender tank. So one of the things you need is wither dust, which you get from breaking wither bones. So now we can actually go do that, so we can go make the pump. And I also got a bunch of netherrack and all the other things we need for the other things. So I'm going to actually start with the blast furnace right now, though, because we need that to get steel production going. So I'm going to get that started right now. So to make the blast furnace, we need 27 of these blast bricks, which is 9 recipes of these bricks, which we now have all of this. I've got a whole bunch of nether brick made, a whole bunch of normal brick, and we've got the blaze powder from the plants, although I did find some blaze rods. So let me make these real fast. And I already carved out a spot to put it right here in the corner next to the coke furnace and put up some drawers to handle it, because we're going to need to cook it directly to this, because I already reconfigured this to be making coke, since we're going to be doing it this way for now. So it's the exact same way as the coke oven, where you just slap these all in here in a cube and hit it with the engineer's hammer. There's a way you can upgrade these later. We're not going to do that right now because, frankly, we don't need that much steel, and I'm actually going to switch to a different method for steel production later. Back with the hammer, and it's done. Alright, now that we have this made, we can't actually automate this yet. This is the crude blast furnace. It can't actually take any inputs from pipes or anything right now. We would need to upgrade it to the reinforced blast bricks, which requires steel plates. So that'll be one of the first uses of steel that we do, but we can't do it for now. So for now, we'll grab the coke out of here, throw it into here, and grab some iron and chuck it in. And this will just slowly process it into steel. It takes quite a long time to do, so we're just going to let that happen. Let's go build the ender tanks now, though. So the ender tanks take quite a bit. They take ardite and ingots, which actually are one of the things we found in the nether. There's cobalt and there's ardite. Those are two ores that are only found there. They're added by Tinker's Construct. These are also necessary to make the next pickaxe head upgrade for the next quest there. So we'll need to do that in a little bit. But it takes that, blaze rods, obsidian, a cauldron, wither dust, and an ender pearl. So we have all of this now. Now we just need to make it. Now we need to make two of these because we have to place one out here in this area and one inside the nether itself. So we'll drop one of these down right here just for now so we can see it when we come back. And then we will go take the other to the nether along with the fluid pump, some hardened ducts, a lever, and we need to make a magma generator. Alright, now that I'm where I want to put the pump for the lava, one of the things we needed to make was the magmatic generator, which is actually a fairly decent source of power on its own. It's not too hard to make, but it requires opening up the extra utils tree, which requires making the furnace strainer, which requires making a machine block. None of this is all that hard because it's just a base machine casing and various forms of modified smooth stone. So it's not too hard to make. But we're not going to use it in our main base because it's hard to keep lava flowing at this point in the game. I'm periodically going to have to come in and move this pump. So you start by putting it in the lava where you want it to be. I'm going to pop out this block right here behind it. I'm going to get shot by a blaze and have to deal with that real fast. Okay. Then we put the leadstone flux duct on top of it. We put the magmatic generator on top of that. And then we take a bucket, grab some lava, prime the generator so it gets power flowing into the pump. Okay. Then we take the fluid ducts, take that out here, pipe this up into the magmatic generator. You see that the lava is still not flowing into it yet. It's because the pump isn't actually on. Put the lever next to the pump and hope I have everything going in the correct direction, which I do not yet. Put this on here. And then, let's see, where's the hammer? And then now we have to change which direction. If you hold shift to sneak and hit the pipe, it should cause the pump lava to flow in the correct direction. Let's see. Okay, I figured out what I did wrong here. I forgot to open up this side. So if you right click this, it changes. Shift right click changes the other side. I had that set correctly, but this needed to be set to blue, and it wasn't. So if we reconnect these up now, you can see that lava is now flowing out into everything. So now we have a constant source of lava going to the generator, the pump is constantly going, and the lava tank is now filled up. So let's go back to the base. Alright, and now that we're back in our base, you can see that this tank here is also completely full of lava. Now, the one thing about the ender tanks is you see these 3 white buttons on top. If you change the color of these, they tune to different channels basically. So we do turn it to red, it no longer becomes a lava tank. It's now linked to a completely different tank, the red, white, white tank. Change it back to white, it'll fill back up with lava. And they all share the same inventory, pretty much similar to an ender chest. Now that we have this, we can do a bunch of other things like the magma anvil to repair stuff, the geothermal power for industrial craft. We can now automate the obsidian generator too and pipe that through it as well, just to generate a whole bunch of obsidian for us freely, stuff like that. So that lets us get moving forward on some other things. However, because we dumped into extra utils and a few other things, let's open up the loot chests that we got. So I should talk about extra utils because one of the main things it adds is a whole bunch of different generators, including the magmatic generator that we created. We'll get this later because we have to go through the chain to get it, but it allows us to make a whole bunch of different power sources, but it has a whole bunch of other utility things as well, just like the golden lassos we were using earlier. So it's a weird utility mod. It also has mob killing tools. We probably won't be using these ones, but we'll probably be using a different tool, like Angel Ring for flight, Angel Blocks lets you place blocks in the air, just a whole bunch of different tools. Cursed Earth, which is what we'll be using to make a mob farm later. We got a drop of evil from one of the wither skeletons I killed. We got extremely lucky. It dropped off for one of the first ones we needed, so we'll be able to do that as well. So anyhow, let's go take a look at the chests we got. I have no idea what this is. I've never seen this before, so we're gonna have to go take a look at that. Looks like it's just an explosive of some sort. Okay, free nuts, as long as the tree grows. I tried growing a pear tree outside and it didn't grow any pears though. More food, donuts, and some lanterns, which we already can easily make. So not all that exciting of a batch of stuff this time though. Well, now you're asking yourselves, now that we have the Nether open, and now that we've got lava to power things, what do we do next? Well, if you're me, you do the completely sensible thing of going and exploring the world and finding a dragon. And then thinking, I made a new bow to deal gas and blazes in the Nether, I can probably take on a dragon, right? They're not so bad. They're not hard at all. I'm wearing iron armor. That's completely unenchanted. My gear's totally ready for this. I've got no potions. Let's go. And let me tell you, that ended about as well as you might expect. I burned through most of my arrow supply using Tinker's Construct arrows, which run off of durability instead of a stack. And I got the dragon down to, I don't know what, 2/3 of its life bar remaining before I teleported out like a coward. Yeah, I'm not proud of that, but I'm definitely not going to go take a dragon again on anytime soon. Not until I can make slightly better weapons and maybe get some fire resist on my armor, because that was that was not going to get one, even with me cheesing it when it was stuck for a bit. So that's not what we're doing for this one. Alright, so if I'm not going to do the lunacy that is attacking a dragon again, I think the next step is actually to build the magma anvil so we can start repairing some of our harder to repair pieces of equipment, or just make it easier to repair stuff in general. So the magma anvil is actually pretty easy. There's two things we're going to want to make in the future: the magma anvil now, and later the powered diamond anvil uses RF power to work. This one requires a significantly deeper dive. You specifically have to have a lot of empowered diamantine from actually additions, which I am nowhere near making currently. So that one's a while off. But the magma anvil is actually pretty simple as long as you have magma blocks from the Nether and a whole bunch of iron to make an anvil and a whole bunch of gold. So let's just do that real fast. So the anvil, there's nothing changed in the anvil. It's just 3 diamond blocks and 4 diamond in the shape of an anvil, and that's done. The other pieces we already have, just slap that down and grab this. So now, to do this, the first thing I did was I actually moved the ender tank into the back here in this back cubby area under my wall right here, so that I can put it on the upper floor and also power the geothermal generator when I move it back here. So that's there. We'll go back upstairs now. It already has a hardened duct attached to it, so we just need to slap this on top of it, and bang, it's done. So now the way this works is, most importantly, let's repair my charms. So we've got my fire charm and my wing charm, which is slow fall and some fire protection, but you notice that it's already out because I don't know, I got beaten up by a dragon. So just toss that in there and you see that it eats up the magma and repairs it, and it's done. Same thing for this, and it's done. Now, not everything is as quick to repair as these are. For instance, now that I've gone downstairs to get the air charm, the one that lets me fly, you'll see that when I put this on, it drains all the lava and it barely ticks up. This eats up a phenomenal amount of lava to repair, but this at least gives us the ability to repair our means to fly now. So let me finish this and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so now that I've got my air charm repaired, let's take a quick look at how it works. So it's not quite like Creative Flight, you just jump and you go up in the air. And in, and up, and up, and up, and up, and up, and shift to go down. So it's not quite like flight. It just mostly just lets you treat anything like it's the air. On the upside, because I also have the slow fall charm, I can just go into my inventory and shut the air charm off and drop in. Slow fall will just kick in, and I can just move around as if this is on. My actual favorite form of movement in this mod pack is actually the slow fall one, plus the multi-jump enchanted boots, because it lets you actually move faster than the air charm. Anything that gives creative flight would obviously be preferable, but those are a little bit harder to make. And we'll get to that later. But for now, this at least lets me explore things like the Nether a lot more easily, and now I can repair it pretty quickly. One of the big things these anvils can't do, however, is repair Tinker's Construct equipment. So we push that in, you notice that it immediately finishes without repairing them. We still have to repair these manually. And this actually becomes a problem later on when we'll create a mob farm to farm mobs for their equipment. Then we'll toss into an Immersive Engineering arc furnace and melt them down for raw materials, which will then have to filter out all of the Tinker's Construct equipment because they're just in the way. Alright, so now that we've got all of this out of the way, while we were doing all this, we got enough steel out of the blast furnace to actually upgrade it, so I yanked it out of the wall and I upgraded it. I also cleared out a space behind it because we're going to put it behind a wall facade here because it's actually bigger and kind of clunky to interact with. So let me lay it down real fast and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so you notice I had to put a hopper on top of that. That's because this operates a little bit differently than a lot of other machines. So right click this to create it, and you notice how it's weirdly shaped. It would not have looked nearly as well placed on the wall as the old crude version does, but I can't interact with it except through putting inputs through the top here and removing stuff from the sides or the back. So hold please while I get this all hooked up to actually work. Alright, so now it's all hooked up. Let's go take a look at how it works. You can see that it's processing iron and coke. The coke is coming directly out of the coke oven, getting tossed into the top of this and being dumped in. The iron is coming out of this drawer, up through that pipe, and down into here as well. And the outputs come out the back, out this here, up and into this bottom chest, and it removes both the slag and the steel. These two on the side are for preheaters. Eventually we might want to make room for it. If I do, I'll move it over one and we should have plenty. But we're not going to make those right now because we just don't need to. We don't need that much steel. It's just passive. If I get to that point, I will probably just make the Immersive Engineering setup because it works without using coal at all, which is actually my preferred method, but it's harder and a bit clunkier to set up, and most people aren't even familiar with it even existing. So this at least gets our steel production done. Let me go slap the walls back on. So this is all hidden from view. And magic! Now it's like it doesn't even exist, uglifying my base. So that's good. Now we just have to fill up the inputs and we will have plenty of steel in the near future. You know what? Know how I said I was not going to make the preheaters? I lied. I'm going to make them right now just to clear out the Immersive Engineering quest book. I'll hook those up and then probably run power to them since I've got free power coming in anyways. So let's get those done. So to make them, you need to come in here, you need to make a bunch of sheet metal, which is just iron plates turned into sheet metal, which that's all easy to do. Then you make external heaters, which is just a whole bunch of these, plus 2 copper coil blocks, which we've done before, which is just a bunch of copper. So I've already got all those made, so let's just complete all these and be done with this. And finish with the quest. The other thing that I did while I was looking through the quest book was I also made the alloy kiln bricks, which are used to make a special thing for making alloy blocks, not unlike the smeltery. And this is, I'm probably going to put this on a wall somewhere just for use, but let me show you what it does real fast and why it's of limited use to me at this point. So right click that, same as anything else, it brings up this small multi-block structure. You come in here, you add fuel, and you add the two things you want to alloy together. Now, the problem is it only alloys 4 different things. So let's come in here and take a look at all of the recipes. And you can see that it does constantin, which we can do in the smeltery. That's nothing special, it's 1 and 1, same as there. We can do electrum, which is 1 gold, 1 silver, same as the smeltery. And then we can do invar, which is 2 iron and 1 nickel per 3, which is a better conversion rate than the smeltery. So I might use it to make invar, although I don't exactly have a shortage of nickel. But anything helps. And then the other thing it does is bronze, which at 3 and 1, which is the exact same as recipe as normal bronze anyways. So I might throw that in over there somewhere just so we have it, in case I remember that I have it when I'm making invar, but it is what it is. Alright, so now that we've got these done, let's go pop up on the quest book real fast and let's go claim the loot chest. We already got that. I already pulled the one for the alloy kiln out, so let's open it up and see if we got anything interesting. More food, not waffle, so we haven't eaten it yet, so that's good. And then another sapling for dragon fruit, so that's more fruit. On the upside, the one for the cashew tree did work, unlike the pear tree that I made, so it's good to know that they can grow out here for sure. So folks, I think I'm going to call it at that for the day. We made some good progress today. We popped open the portal of the Nether, did some exploring there. We fought a dragon and lost pretty badly. We got the blast furnace underway, got steel production going, we upgraded that, and then we made a couple other minor things, including the magma anvil, to get our tools and trinkets repaired. So, all in all, a fairly productive day. So, as always, I'm Ard, and have a nice day.